Outside the shop, the 2 blocks of stores and business places in the town of Lone Pine drowsed in the late afternoon of an early autumn day. A few cars were parked along the street. 3 dogs went through elaborate, formal canine recognition rites, 3 old friends meeting at the northwest corner of an intersection. Stiffy Grant, tattered and disreputable man about town, sat on a nail keg outside the town's one hardware store, paying close attention to the smoking of a fairly decent-sized cigar stub that he had rescued from the gutter. Sally, the waitress at the Pine Cafe, slowly swept the sidewalk in front of her place of employment, making the job last, reluctant to leave the warm autumn sunshine and go inside again. At the end of the easternmost block, Kermit Jones, the banker, drove his car into the corner service station. Jerry Conklin, forestry student working for his doctorate at the University of Minnesota, parked his car at the end of the bridge that spanned the Pine River below the town, took out his cased fly rod, and began assembling it. When he had stopped at the Lone Pine service station several months ago, en route to a forestry camp in the primitive wilderness area, the attendant had told him of the monster trout that lurked in the pool below the bridge. An avid fly fisherman, he had kept this piece of information in his mind ever since it had been given him, but with no chance until now to act upon it. On this day, he had driven a number of miles out of his way from another forestry camp where he had spent several days studying the ecology of a mature and undisturbed white pine forest so that he could try the pool below the bridge. He looked at his watch and saw that he could afford no more than 30 minutes at the pool. Kathy had a pair of tickets for the symphony. Some guest conductor, whose name he had quite forgotten, would be directing the orchestra, and Kathy had been wild for weeks to attend the concert. He didn't care too much for that kind of music, but Kathy did, and she would be sore as hell if he didn't get back to Minneapolis on time. In the barber shop, George said to Norton, "You put the papers in the mail this afternoon. It must feel good not to have much to do for another week." "You are dead wrong there," said Norton. "You don't just snap your fingers and get out a paper, even a weekly paper. There are ads to be made up and sold, job printing to be done, copy to be written, and a lot of other things to do to get together next week's paper." "I've always wondered why you stay here," said George. "A young newspaper man like you, there are a lot of places you could go.